There's no sound. Let's see. Oh, can you hear now? Let's see. Can I add you to the stream? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the stream. This is kind of cool. Um, I don't know why there wasn't any sound, but there we go. Okay.
Yeah, now there is, and it's also on YouTube now. The sound, so
Awesome. Okay.
it, YouTube. It's so funny. It always. Oh, now you're seeing my ear.
Oh,
YouTube has a 30 seconds delay or something. It's really weird.
oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we got it sorted. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
So,
you have the graph there, but you can start the story now. I think.
perfect. Well, that's great. Let's do it. So basically, what I'm looking at the daily, looking on Ethereum, and I'm trying to map out, are we in a an uptrend? And technically the market on the daily hasn't changed the market structure. We really have to take this higher high in order for the market structure to change, but we would classify this as consolidation. But there's definitely potential. We put in a lower low, we came up, put it in a this is still a lower high. um, I mean, technically, because we would be looking at this high. We didn't take it. So we came back in, put in a higher low, a higher high, so that's point 1, point 2, and now we need our third point in order to really get a change of market structure. So, and once we have a low in here, we could then look for the high around 3550 or 3600 to be taken. So that's what we're looking for as far as Ethereum goes. Let's see here. I've also got this cool channel that I think we're in, and we want to see how that's being respected. So this will give us another indicator of or indication of where we might be. So this is our parallel channel, and what we have is we have these two wicks connected here at the bottom. So we started with these two wicks, and then we take it to the top here, and this is so far so good. I was hoping that we would get some more consolidation around here and move back up to the top. That is not what we got. I was thinking that was the most likely scenario. Now the most likely scenario is that we get close to, or maybe have contact with, this bottom of the parallel. Now, something that we want to look at as well, and real quick, this is just for the understanding the kind of the environment of where we're at, and then we'll get into the actual topics for today. All right, so we want to measure on this fixed range between here and here, and put a horizontal. Let's see, right there. Okay, so this white line would be the point of control for this section of candles. So the point of control is where the most volume was traded in that area. You can see that we've now kind of, at this point, if we kind of come down, we've broken above, or broken out of this panel for the horizontal line. Sorry, we've broken out of this channel, not panel. So if this comes down and we hit this, maybe we break through and hit, and then we come back up. So we would really have to wait for confirmation here. I think the cleanest thing, because there's a lot that could play out, the cleanest outcome would be either we just have a bottom here and we move up, or we make contact with this bottom line of the parallel channel and get a reaction to the upside. And then we'll monitor that to see if we, are going to travel the whole length of the channel again. If we're going to the top, maybe we get stopped halfway, right? We want to really take a look at that and see. But as of right now, this channel is holding true. And I think the most likely scenario is that we move to the top. Now, here's another scenario, and it's a little less clean, but nevertheless could be true. So let me hide these things. Okay. Gonna get rid of that and get rid of this. Okay. So that would be the ascending parallel channel. Now, maybe we are in a very large range. And what I mean by a range is we have a top and we have a bottom, and we're just going between the two, right? So if this is what we're doing, very well could be the case, right? Then we would look for lower levels, and this is where what we're talking about today, strong bottoms and swing failure patterns really would come into play. So let's talk about a strong bottom first, and then the swing failure. So let's get rid of these lines. Okay, a strong bottom is where you have a wick like these, where price came down, it hit really quick, and then reversed. Okay, that is so. Oftentimes these strong bottoms, they're strong because they don't get challenged very often. It's very hard for the price to then overcome this. There was such a violent reaction for it to move so quickly, and then it just reverse like it did. So we called these strong, and there's strong tops as well. So like this right here, this would be a strong top, right? Let's see, 1 second here. Okay. Now a weak top or a weak bottom, it has a lot of kind of consolidation in this area. So it's not just a quick little hit. It moves up and down and really is fighting on that range. Give me just one moment. Sorry. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So when it's a weaker top or a weaker bottom, we could expect that to be challenged again. So for instance, this right here, this is, so sometimes it's called like a rounded top or a rounded bottom, where it kind of just takes some time and has a slow reversal. That's what we could expect with something like this. Typically with this right here, we wouldn't expect it to be challenged. So if you are the first person to buy that real low, you're probably safe. You know, that's generally the rule of thumb. So I'm trying to see if there's, okay, so we came, let me see here. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess that's basically it. So now from that point, I want to talk about the swing failure patterns, because identifying these types of bottoms or tops are really important with a swing failure pattern. A swing failure pattern is where we put we'll put a horizontal line. Let me just get my magnet here. Okay, so we've identified this is the price point for this bottom, for this wick, right? A swing failure would be if a candle were to come, or the candles come down, and we break that line, and then we put in a strong bottom and reverse, and the candle closes above this line. So we break below it, we reverse it, and then we close above it. Now, something else, and I want to make sure that I'm showing this. So let me share the screen. I think I have to stop sharing it. Hold on one second. Okay. EXO. Okay. So let me refresh this. Oh, now that I want it, doesn't want to work. I don't know why that is. Okay, there it is. All right. So when we're here, what we're looking for a swing failure would be a lot of liquidations as well. Okay. So for instance, let's take a look here. I think, yeah. Okay, let's, so this is the potential swing failure that we're looking at, is for this one as well as this one, these levels, right?
I'm trying to orient. What is it? This is the last few days. This that we're looking at now.
Oh, yes. So what we're looking at, this is EXO charts.
Mm-hmm.
And EXO charts, so we're on the 8-hour. So let me move it to the daily. Okay, so each one of these segments is 1 day now. Okay. So this is today. This is yesterday, the day before, so on and so forth. And this is for Ethereum. And this is showing the volume profile. So let's see here. Yeah, exactly right. Okay, so this would be, so February 23rd. This would be January 23rd. So our channel, I don't think I can draw the same way on here. But this is our parallel channel that we were just looking at. It's now here. So this was our two bottoms, and then obviously our top with this ascending. So lower high, or sorry, lower low, lower high, and then a higher low, higher high, and then maybe another higher low. But when we're, so what we would be looking for is if this was to break, if we came down here and we break this low that's here, this like 2300, we would want to see a lot of liquidations and then also new longs opened up. Okay. So let me show you what these liquidations look like. I think we can go to the 12-hour. Okay. Yeah. So now these aren't daily candles. These are 12-hour candles. You can see it's loading up here. So let's let it populate for a minute. Okay. That may be it for right now. But you see these big, so these red dots are liquidations. These green dots are liquidations, but these are longs that were liquidated. These are shorts that were liquidated. Well, actually, I'm sorry, I have that backwards, right? These red ones would be longs that were liquidated. These green ones would be shorts that were liquidated, right? So as the price came down, it there wasn't a lot of volume being traded, but a lot of this was just liquidations that just kind of had this domino effect, right? And then the big dots were big, heavy, like big levels that were consolidated, where there was a lot of money that was lost here, right? So there was, looks like $23 million in this candle. of shorts that were opened up, 26 million that were closed out. So it was yeah, there was millions of dollars traded in this candle in this 12-hour period, and it yeah, it ended up with a lot of people getting liquidated. So if we were to have a swing failure pattern, okay, if we were to take this low that we were looking at, right? So if we have a target that's down here, if we were to take that low and break that price point, but we don't see a lot of liquidations, we don't see a lot of new long trades being opened, then we don't close above that that level that we took, that wouldn't be a swing failure pattern. That would be just losing the level. Um, so what we would want to see is for the price to come down, and then for us to actually take that level, break below it, and have a big red circle like this, like these here, right? So let's say, just for practice purpose, I know this is only divided by a couple hours, right? But so this would, let's say that this was our swing failure, right? It was, in a sense, our swing failure. We had a low that was the previous low. We came up, we came back down, we broke it. We had a lot of liquidations, and then we had a lot of new longs open, and price kind of moved up, and we've stayed above that low ever since. So that technically would be a swing failure, but not so much. It's not exactly what we're looking for. We would be looking for a bigger time frame, and something that happened a little while ago. So let me change my screen again. I don't know how to just change it, so I'm sorry. I have to do the stop sharing, and then we'll go back. So on trading view, again, that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for this green line. We want that to be broken. We want to come down, but then we want it to reverse immediately. We want to see a lot of liquidations, a lot of new longs, meaning new buys, meaning people thinking that the price is going to go back up, right? And if we can see those two things, and then the candle closes, you know how we have the candle close above it? If it closes above that line that we broke, it is a very safe bet that we will see upwards price movement from that point. And that's called a swing failure pattern. So those are the two things I really wanted to cover today. And then I'd be happy to talk to everybody just about what the thoughts are, how everyone's feeling as far as the market's going, if there's any questions when it comes to swing failure patterns or strong bottoms or strong tops. Pretty straightforward lesson that I wanted to put forward today. So if there's anything, I can get you on Twitter, or if you want to join StreamYard and come up on the broadcast, you can do that too.
Hi, Cameron. Yeah, this pattern is indeed pretty obvious. One thing I noticed is that we see those two earlier lows, and then with those, it dropped a lot faster. So it's that first low is like really steep going down, and then the second low is more gradual, and now it's even more gradual. That the ETH is dropping. It's more of a struggle to go down.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I still think the most likely scenario is that between here, between where we're at, I think the swing failure is something we need to watch for. But I think with where we're at, and also our channel, let me put our channel back on in here. I would think that this is really where we would find that buy pressure and start
Yeah,
moving up.
yeah.
So this is what I'm anticipating. This is what I still think is the most likely scenario, but it doesn't have to. So we want to be objective, but I think exactly what you said is correct. It's becoming harder and harder for the price to come down. Um, we're we're entering into this big zone of buy pressure. I mean, if we think about it, um, this buy zone gave us a 40% move to the upside, right? So there was a lot of people in here that was thinking that this is a good place to start buying Ethereum, and I was one of them as well. It is a good price. Anything for me below 2,500 is a great price for Ethereum. So yeah, so I think you're right. It's possible. I was almost wondering if this candle right here, it's not that strong of a bottom, but at the time it looked pretty strong, and we can see that there was a lot of liquidations. There was a decent amount of support at this level. Sorry, let me take the magnet off. Decent amount of support at this level, and let's put on our dailies. Let's see, weekly. Okay, so it's just above our weekly level. Yeah, we don't have our daily level there. So yeah, this is kind of cool. We were talking about hitting the bottom line here, but we also have our daily level. So this should offer quite a bit of support because we have this green line here that's coming across, which is a support level, and then obviously we have the bottom of the parallel channel that would offer support. So if we did come down and hit this, that should be a pretty strong level. We would have multiple groups of investors looking at those two things. So that's kind of what we want to see. We love to see overlapping items. That makes our trades even better.
Yeah, but I like today you showed the flat pattern. It's indeed how it's comparing other people look at it in different ways and just getting the whole spectrum of investors and how they're looking at it. But
Yes. Yeah, let's talk about this scenario because this is where a swing failure pattern really could come into play. And ranging is one of the most common common modes, I guess we could say, for Bitcoin and Ethereum. And it's just a straight horizontal range. Some ranges are a lot more clear, where we've had a couple. So this wouldn't technically be. I don't think that this is technically a range yet. We have to have at least two touches, and we really haven't had that. So could we say that the range is maybe here? Possibly. You're it's kind of being skewed a little bit, right? So like this right here, this definitely could be a range, that we could highlight because we've had multiple touches to kind of validate these areas of support and resistance. Um, so possibly, right? But it's not very clean. Typically, we want to see just a mild or light touch on uh, both tops and bottoms, where it would come down and just give it a touch, and then eventually find its way back up and touch. And this is something Ethereum and Bitcoin do a lot. And this is like these types of ranges are the most profitable because if we got a price or a measurement, that's like I mean, look at that. It's like a 65% range. So if you were able to more or less just buy near the bottom of the range and take profit near the top of the range, you're set up to make, you know, 30 to 50% on your trade. Um, and that's not really even including if you're doing leverage or whatever. So there's a lot of money to be made there. So right, this is like you were saying, Sebastian. This could be another thing that, I mean, there's someone's looking at it like this. Someone has this drawn and could be waiting, not necessarily for support here because of this upward channel, right? they could be looking for support a little bit lower, which very well could be the case. Just depends on what idea gets the most traction and when. Let's do this. Let's say that this was a range. We would be nearing the halfway point right now. So I mean, my gut feeling is that we're not necessarily in this range. I think that the parallel range is more consistent, but you know, we'll find out. We'll see. There's that daily level. There's the weekly level. That weekly level could offer quite a bit, but this is what I would expect to see if we don't just move up from here. And again, we really didn't put in a strong bottom, so I don't think that we are just going to move up from here. I think that I think it's very likely that we could just continue to go to range up and down, and then have a quick drop and move out, right? Maybe take this low and then move on up at least to the halfway point. So that's what I would be expecting. We'll see for sure. But and by the way, if you're on our Twitter space, thanks for joining in. You're listening to the audio. You can see the pinned tweet at the top. That's the YouTube video if you want to follow along, and if you want to actually join in with comments or anything like that, you're more than welcome to with that invite link on the StreamYard. So take a look at that. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what I wanted to cover. I mean, as we're trying to figure out where the market's going, I personally think we're nearing a bottom and we'll be moving our way back up. So I was talking to Goddard about this. So I want to put out another scenario here. All right. Let's say that we do get support down here at the bottom of this parallel channel, but this is just part of a longer, prolonged downward trend. Okay, that's what some people are talking about, is that we're going. I've heard Bitcoin going to 20,000 and Ethereum going lower. So let's look at that scenario. What is it that they're talking about, right? And it would be this type of reaction, this type of measurement. So we want to do our Fibonacci retracement. We're going to go from this low all the way to the high. Okay. Now this right here, let me just kind of clean it up a little bit. Oops, sorry. We'll put a background in. Okay, so this golden channel, golden pocket for Ethereum puts us between 1691 and 1979. So basically 1700 and 2000. Those are our basic levels. Okay. So let's say that we break below this. I would then be looking for the swing failure. I'm not just buying it until I see confirmation, right? But I would be looking for that swing failure. I would then be looking for this swing failure. And if we continued to come down and we didn't get it, I would then be looking for a reaction in this level. This is the global like pocket, the golden pocket, or the global retracement for this Fibonacci like 618 retracement. And what I mean by global is we're talking about a massive time frame. This was the low basically for this whole chart, right? So we take the all-time low for the chart, we take it to the all-time high, and then we would do our measurements. And now this would be the biggest level that we would have for the Fibonacci retracement. Okay, that would be between 1700 and 2000. every time we hit this level, I'm telling you, just historically, especially with Bitcoin, every time we hit this level, it takes us to an all-time high. So this has been the trend for a long time. And let me see, every time? Let's say nearly every time. There may be a time or two that doesn't, but this level almost always brings us to an all-time high. So if we were to hit this, this would definitely be a buy area. I don't know that that's going to happen, but you know, so a couple scenarios. How could we get here? One, we could, and by the way, check out the invite link if you want to see it live if you're on Twitter. So, couple things. We could just break this bottom of this channel. We could break out the bottom and then continue to move down. Um, we could also continue this a little bit where we get reaction and then we get some play in the middle and then we come back down, right? This right here would be pretty, I mean, this would be a pretty big bear trend. We're looking at this on the daily. We would still be in that range. We would still be consolidating. It wouldn't necessarily be a downtrend. It would be a localized downtrend. It would be a downtrend that we would be experiencing for basically, hold on, let me see, basically 3 months. So it would feel a lot more bearish than it actually is because we hadn't really broken out and, you know, broken any significant levels other than here we would have lost that, you know, that channel. But still we have these other levels. So it would be pretty significant to break this level. And the level I'm pointing out that I'm highlighting is basically 21 to 23,000, or sorry, 21 to 2300 for Ethereum. But if we did that, then we would be looking realistically for a very good buy level here. And this would be fantastic as far as opportunity, right? And I think that we very well could go to an all-time high. We could see some massive movement up here. What if we lose this level? Really, the probabilities are so low, but it definitely could happen. But if we did, I would then be looking, I don't know, let me get this measurement. I mean, it just is almost like a little bit absurd to say, but I mean, you'd almost be looking at like 800. And I find that hard to believe right now with where crypto is, where there's so much adoption, so many new people that's come into the space. I think something that we have to gauge, you know, I've heard people say, oh, we're never going to have a bear market like we've had before. And I don't know that that's true. I think that we'll have bear markets again. But we have to keep in mind how much the adoption of crypto has increased over the last little while. So many new people into crypto, into Ethereum, you know, just compared to like previous times, like when you're talking about pre 2020 until now, there's a lot more people that are into crypto, are aware of crypto. So I would think it would be really unlikely to break through this global CC, like to go below 1700 for Ethereum. It absolutely could happen because anything could happen. We have to keep that mindset. We have to be objective. But realistically, if we're looking at probabilities, the most probable outcome is that we get a reaction at 2640 if we go that low. But 2640 would be probably where we get that, or maybe 27, somewhere in there. And then we move up. And then we can gauge it. Do we get a lot of resistance at the halfway point? Do we take the the high here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Actually, let me just do this. Reposition this. Okay. Do we get resistance at the halfway point on this channel? Do we take the high and hit the top of this parallel channel? Do we break above? Do we break below? We have to really monitor it because we're in this point of consolidation. Truly, we're in consolidation right now. It's just a big range of consolidation. It's like a 60% range. So we are in a place where if we were to take out a trade, like let's say we don't have any trades, and this is not financial advice, I'm just talking for myself, and there's entertainment and educational stuff in here. So don't trade based off of what I'm saying. Just do your own research and blah blah blah. But if you weren't in a long on Ethereum, I'll speak for myself. If I wasn't in a long on Ethereum, I would be looking for this range to enter because that's the highest probability trade. And this range again is 26 to 2700. Well, 26 to 2800. I think it's a pretty good cushion there. That's what I would be looking at. Now, depending on the reaction, if we're just slow and we just slowly grind it down, and then we kind of consolidate on here, but there's not much, I really think that we would then break through, and I would be looking for the swing failure. I'd be looking for the next swing failure pattern and to see if we would get a reaction off of either one of those. I think that hitting the global Fibonacci retracement, the global golden pocket, is it's a possible scenario, of course, but it's not very probable at this moment. And I'm still kind of bullish. I mean, I'm seeing what looks like a change in market structure that's going to take place. And so I think as of right now, that's the most likely scenario, most probable trade. So I'm gonna quit reiterating myself and probably just end there, unless there's any questions, and anyone can join in. So feel free, whether you're on Twitter or YouTube or StreamYard. Perfect. So I think that's going to do it for today. We covered quite a bit. We're really trying to determine where the market's going, and it is a wait and see game. But we are probably coming towards a bottom where we'll get a reaction, move to the upside, and we'll continue to monitor that to see if we get a significant reaction, if we can trend upwards for the next. I mean, it would be nice to get a month or 2 or 3 of some pretty pretty good buys coming in. I would say the only other factors are just kind of other economic factors. Inflation. We haven't seen these levels of inflation for a while. And it's weird because in a way, crypto is a hedge against inflation. But also, do people have the money that they're putting into it? Right? Because what's really strange is to look at commodities like gold and silver and see that there's also no price movement. So is there manipulation? Is there something that's going on there? Very, very possible. It's really unlikely that gas and fuel goes up and the price to mine gold and silver at least doesn't reflect that at all. I mean, like there's like the things that we're looking at are really strange. And so, yeah, I imagine the inflation is going to catch up even more so in the financial sectors, probably gold and silver, but also crypto. Crypto's a hedge against inflation. So I don't necessarily think that it's bad. I think it may be maybe less advantageous for micro caps if inflation is truly bad, because it's probably more likely that people would be putting their money into Bitcoin or Ethereum and not so much into smaller projects. If it like if you were to hedge against inflation, I could see the argument where someone would rather put it into maybe Bitcoin or Ethereum, especially at this price range, rather than try and invest into projects. Now, it doesn't have to be the true, but I'm just kind of making a case specifically for someone that's looking to combat inflation. But anyway, those factors, we will see how they play out. It's kind of a unique scenario, unique situation. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, I really appreciate everyone joining in. It's great to be back. This whole week been basically under the weather, so glad to be back doing a broadcast and talking about this. So I hope that was beneficial. We learned about swing failure patterns. We learned about strong and weak tops and bottoms. And I think that we've got some cool setups. It would be really fun to see if we got any of those. And we'll just see how the market plays out over the next little while. So everyone take care. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll do a broadcast on Monday.